Hi guys, it's Splash and Crash here, back with another video. Before we start this video, I was going to release a mock draft video yesterday. I've made the entire video. I was about to upload it. I went back to rewatch it, and the audio file got corrupted. So it was just a video, no audio, which obviously sucks. And I didn't want to completely redo a 60 pick mock draft, so I decided to scrap it. However, I'm still working on my 30 subs special, which I have been working on for 2 weeks, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, this isn't a draft grade video. This is just like my thoughts on what happened yesterday. So yeah, with the first pick, the Timberwolves took Anthony Edwards. I thought they were going to go LaMelo Ball, but I think Anthony Edwards was the best pick. Like, the Timberwolves did really well yesterday. They did really well yesterday. Like, I didn't expect them to do that well. I thought they were going to mess it up, take LaMelo with the #1 pick, which is just a horrible defensive fit with D'Angelo Russell. But no, they didn't. They took Anthony Edwards. It looks like they're also going to trade Malik Beasley. Yeah. The Warriors took James Wiseman with the second pick. It sucks that Klay Thompson tore his Achilles. He's going to be out for the year. Maybe he comes back in the playoffs, but it looks like they're going to use their trade exception, trade for Kelly Oubre, and yeah, so then they could run out a lineup of Steph, Wiggins, Kelly, Draymond, and Wiseman, and then yeah, so we get to see Wiggins on a winning team, and he's actually like going to be used with a pretty big role, so that's going to be really cool to see. So maybe Wiggins could actually be really good next year. Who knows? But yeah, Wiseman, he's a really good fit on the Warriors roster, and they're probably going to build around him like even after this year. With pick 3, the Hornets took LaMelo Ball. Yeah, this was a no-brainer pick. The Hornets, like, they're really not in the position to nitpick, so yeah, they just took best player available. They're definitely going to build their team around him, and yeah, so I think that was a really good pick for them. With pick 4, the Bulls took Patrick Williams. I do think Denny would have been a better pick, and I think Isaac Okoro probably would have been a better pick too. But Patrick Williams, he is super athletic, and he has a high motor, high work ethic. So who knows? Maybe he'll surprise us and be better than both of those guys. Pick 6, the Hawks took Okongwu. I don't like this pick at all. I mean, I like Okongwu as a player. Like, I like him a lot, and I think he would be a really good prospect for any other team. It's just the Hawks are way too crowded in their front court right now. They went from having like no defensive centers to now having 2 really good ones that both probably should be starting. And it's not like you can put Okongwu to the power forward position because you already have John Collins there. So yeah, like, they either have to trade Clint Capella or Okongwu, or one of them's going to have to come off the bench, which is just like, why would you put yourself in that position? I don't really know. But yeah, I don't really like that pick for the Hawks. But I think like a team like the Celtics could trade for him. Maybe the Wizards. I also like the what's it called, the Hornets, if they get enough assets together. But yeah, so I think if Okongwu were to get traded, which it doesn't look likely at this point, it would probably be to the Celtics, because the Hawks like Gordon Hayward, and the Celtics could sign and trade Gordon Hayward. I know he opted out of the player option, but the Celtics still could sign and trade Gordon Hayward for Onyeka Okongwu. With pick 7, the Pistons took Killian Hayes, which, with Patrick Williams being off the board, they really liked him. I think it came down between... Also for the Hawks, with this pick, I think they definitely should have taken Tyrese Halliburton and maybe Denny, if you wanted to have a 6'9" 2 guard. But yeah, like, for the Pistons, I think it came down between Killian Hayes and Tyrese Halliburton. Maybe Killian Hayes has a slightly higher potential, or like ceiling, because he's a year younger. And he's just like a more flashy player, so he probably had a bit higher of a ceiling. So I guess that's why the Pistons took him. I think Killian Hayes is a good pick. Number 8, the Knicks take Obi Toppin. I think Tyrese Halliburton probably could have been a better pick, but yeah, like, I think Obi's probably a better player between them. Just the fit would have been a bit better with Tyrese Halliburton. But yeah, so Obi Toppin, I think he could still be a really good pick. The Knicks have been linked with Gordon Hayward and Malik Beasley. Hopefully they trade Julius Randle, because the Obi Toppin fit's going to be horrible if they don't trade him. So yeah, but if they trade Julius Randle, this is a really good pick. If they don't, I don't really know how to feel about this. Pick 9, the Wizards. They don't get a defensive player like they were coming into this draft looking for, but they do get Denny Avdija, which is still a really good pick at pick 9. Pretty much, everyone had him in their top 5, and they got him at pick 9, which is just really crazy that he fell this low. But yeah, it happened. At pick 10, the Suns take Jalen Smith. I mean, if you really wanted Jalen Smith, you probably could have traded down and taken him. I think he's going to be a really good player. He's an in-and-out scorer. He's pretty good at defense on the inside, too. And I think he could be a decent fit next to DeAndre Ayton. It's just, are they going to give him that starting spot over Cam Johnson? I don't know. At pick 11, the Spurs take Devin Vassell. Yeah, either Devin Vassell or Aaron Nesmith. Devin Vassell's probably a bit better defensively, but Aaron Nesmith's definitely just way better on offense. You can choose who you like better. I'm probably a bit biased since I'm a Celtics fan towards Aaron Nesmith, but yeah, Devin Vassell, a good pick for the Spurs. And then at pick 12, the Kings pull highway robbery. This is how the Kings were able to get Tyrese Halliburton at pick 12. Everyone has him as a top 5 player in this draft, not going top 5, because he doesn't really fit well with any of the teams in the top 5. But somehow the Kings got away with this. This is definitely an A+ pick. If this was a draft grade video, I would obviously give this an A+. It's Tyrese Halliburton at pick 12. That's a really good pick. And that's just super surprising. At pick 13, the Pelicans took Kira Lewis. This was rumored a lot before. Because I hope he actually gets playing time, because they traded for George Hill and Eric Bledsoe. Hopefully the Pelicans don't play them over Kira Lewis, because Kira Lewis is really good. Maybe they'll give him some minutes at the 2 guard. I don't know. But yeah, I think Kira Lewis is a good pick for the Pelicans. Pick 14, the Celtics take Aaron Nesmith. And before you say I'm biased, I legitimately think Aaron Nesmith could be the steal of the draft and could win Rookie of the Year. Before you say I'm biased, just hear me out. So Aaron Nesmith is obviously the best shooter in this draft. Shot 52% on 8 attempts per night last year. The only reason he didn't go higher is because of an injury. And you might say he has injury concerns, but he's a shooter, a pure shooter. He's decent at defense. He has a 7-foot wingspan, but he's a pure shooter. That's his main skill. And because of that, I don't think this injury is going to really affect him that much. So yeah, and since Gordon Hayward opted out, maybe he'll get a starting role. I don't know if the Celtics are going to give him that starting role, or if they're going to give Marcus Smart the starting role. I don't know. Maybe Marcus, I hope that they at least give Aaron Nesmith, 6th-man minutes. I want, because I think he can prove that he could be one of the best players in this draft. He's being really underrated. Sorry, I took a screenshot by accident. But yeah, Aaron Nesmith, I really wanted them to trade it for Okongwu. But, if they can't, and even if they try to trade it for Okongwu, I want them to keep Aaron Nesmith in that kind of trade scenario. And I think Gordon Hayward leaving really opens up, a spot for Aaron Nesmith on this roster. And I think he could, be a really good contributor with the Celtics right now. And since he's only 20 years old, he's in his, he might be 19. I don't know his exact age. I'm pretty sure he's actually 19. I don't know. He was a sophomore in college. He played 2 years in college. But yeah, I think he could be really good. And a very underrated pick here at pick 14. CBS gave this an A+ grade. don't call me biased if you want, actually, but me personally, I'd also give this an A+. At pick 15, the Magic take Cole Anthony. He was supposed to fall into the 20s, and I think he can prove that he's still a really good player. So I'm glad that team took him almost in the lottery. Next year, Jonathan Isaac's gonna be out for the year, or basically the year. So yeah, I'm glad they at least took a backcourt player instead of a another big. Yeah, so Cole Anthony, he's probably going to be the sixth man just starting off, and maybe he can take the starting spot away from Markelle Fultz. I don't really know, but I think he could also fit in well with Markelle Fultz in a backcourt, because Markelle is probably a really good Markelle is a pretty good defender, and I think Cole Anthony is just complements Markelle really well. Markelle is more of a slasher, while Cole Anthony's more of a shooter. So I think they could run a backcourt together. But yeah, at pick 16, the Pistons took Isaiah Stewart. You probably could have traded down for him, but the Pistons, they traded into this pick. And they gave up a future pick for this. I don't know. Maybe you could have traded with a team that was a bit lower than this, but yeah. At least for the fit, I like this pick a lot because he could just be a really good inside big for them. And he could complement Killian Hayes really well in a pick and roll. They also took another player that could work really well with this new dynamic they have. They did trade Luke Kennard, but yeah, Killian Hayes could run pick and rolls with him, Sekou Demboya. Maybe if Christian Wood stays, Christian Wood I think Killian Hayes is getting a lot of weapons to around him. Hopefully the Pistons find a trade for Blake Griffin as well as Derrick Rose, but we'll see about that. At pick 17, the Thunder get Aleksej Pokusevski. So this was actually a trade. The Thunder gave the Timberwolves Ricky Rubio and pick. So Ricky Rubio's back in Minnesota, which is really cool to see. And the Thunder get a potential steal in Aleksej Pokusevski, who could be one of the best players in this draft because of his versatility, speed, and length at the big man position. He is also a really good shooter, and he can be a really good playmaker. We'll see how good he is, but yeah, he's your typical European big man. The only problem with him is he's super skinny. Hopefully he puts on some weight. He's way skinnier than Rookie Durant. He's way skinnier than Porzingis. He's way skinnier than both. He's probably one of the skinniest 7-footers I've ever seen. But yeah, so hopefully he puts on some weight, but I really like that pick at pick 17. Pick 18, the Mavericks took Josh Green. So just a nice 3-and-D player. They got another good player in the trade. They traded Seth Curry for Josh Richardson in a second. I like that trade for both teams a lot. And actually, so yeah, another thing I want to talk about is the Sixers. They had a complete overhaul. They had a really good night last year. They drafted someone who we'll talk about in a few minutes, who I really like for their team. They also were able to get off the Al Horford contract, added a decent floor spacer. We don't really know if Danny Green's good or not, but at least people will guard him, so he is a floor spacer. They also were able to get a really good shooter in Seth Curry. So yeah, this roster's been completely overhauled, and I really like what Daryl Morey's been doing for the Sixers. Yeah, the Mavericks, they had a 3-and-D player in Josh Green, and they get Josh Richardson. The Pistons, they were in a 3-team trade where the Nets got Landry Shamet, the Clippers got Luke Kennard, and the Pistons got Sadiq Bey with this draft pick. So yeah, all these teams get a decent shooter. The Pistons, Sadiq Bey, I think he's just younger than Luke Kennard, probably has a bit more potential. So I think that's decent for them. The Clippers, it's probably an upgrade, Luke Kennard over Landry Shamet. And the Nets add like a good floor spacer around their stars in Landry Shamet. Pick 20, the Heat take Precious Achiuwa. He's one of the players I really liked for the Celtics, but yeah, I think this is a good pick for the Heat. They have a really good development staff, and he could potentially develop into something really good. At pick 21, the Sixers take Tyrese Maxey, and I love this pick. I don't know if he'll start in year number 1, but like as soon as he gets that starting role, his playmaking ability is just going to be really nice in pick and rolls with Embiid and Simmons. Which like because now Simmons is probably going to run power forward or small forward next year, which I think is going to really help out with all the issues on this team because they could add in another shot creator in the backcourt, with Simmons moving into the front court. At pick 22, the Nuggets drafted Zeke Naji. Added more big man depth. I think that was a pretty good pick. And yeah, so at pick 23, the Knicks and Timberwolves were in a trade, and the Timberwolves took Leandro Balmaro, who could really add another dynamic to this team as just a really good wing who has shooting potential and is a really good playmaker. So he is really a point forward. And like if he develops into something, he could be a really nice fit with the young core they've been getting. So at pick 24, that pick that the Pelicans got in the Jrue Holiday trade, the Indiana pick from Milwaukee, they traded it to Denver. The Denver Nuggets took R.J. Hampton. R.J. Hampton could be really good or he could be really bad, but this is a late first-round pick, so it's not really that high risk. So yeah, this is a low-risk, high-reward player, and if he develops, he could be really nice next to Jamal Murray in the backcourt. At pick 25, the Thunder drafted Emmanuel Quickley. He was traded to Minnesota, and he was in the that deal for Leandro Balmaro. And yeah, so from what I've heard, he's a good shooter. He has a lot of defensive effort, and he's super fast, which is kind of ironic considering his last name. But yeah, he could progress into something for the Knicks. It's good that they're taking project players too, not just experienced players like Obi Toppin, so they could develop. At pick 26, the Celtics take Peyton Pritchard. I really like this pick because he's a really good scorer. He can, especially his shooting ability, and he's also a good playmaker. So he just adds more depth to the Celtics. He's also a more experienced player, so he could contribute right away. At pick 27, the Jazz took Udoka Azubuike, who could just be he can just be a really good backup big man. They did make a questionable trade with Tony Bradley for a second-round pick, which that was pretty questionable. But hey, I guess you did get your replacement in Udoka Azubuike. At pick 28, that pick that was in the Dennis Schroeder, Danny Green trade, the Thunder, that was also in that trade for pick 17. The Timberwolves took Jaden McDaniels. So the Timberwolves, they had a really good night. They added a veteran who provides depth in Ricky Rubio. They drafted a potential star with the first overall pick in Anthony Edwards, and they brought in two potential project players that are low-risk, high-reward players. Jaden McDaniels could be one of the best players in this game. In this draft. And he could be a 20-point per game scorer if he develops properly. With pick 29, the Raptors took Malachi Flynn, pretty similar to Peyton Pritchard, just a good, nice floor spacing, playmaking point guard. And he also is really good at perimeter defense. He'll probably develop nicely under Masai Ujiri and the Raptors and their insane development staff. The Celtics drafted Desmond Bane at pick 30, then traded him for a draft consideration. Depending on the picks, I think I'd rather have had the Celtics keep him because he's just a really good 3-and-D player. He was supposed to go like right outside the lottery. It's a huge surprise he fell this late, and this is a huge W for the Memphis Grizzlies. On the second round, I don't know a lot about all these players, so I'm just going to talk about the players I do know about. So, yeah, Tyrell Terry for the Mavericks is a really good pick. Vernon Carey could be pretty good for the Hornets at pick 32. Daniel Arturo could be good for the Timberwolves, another good project player. Theo Maledon could be a good project for the Thunder. Oh, no, Daniel Arturo is on the Clippers. Okay, my bad. The Kings drafted Xavier Tillman and traded him to the Grizzlies. He could be good. Tyler Bay is on the Mavericks. He could also be really good. Trey Jones is just a nice, experienced point guard at 41 for the Spurs. That's such a Spurs pick. He fits their the culture they've set in the past few years really well. The fact that they got him at 41 when he could have went in the 20s is just insane to me. Nico Mannion at 48. I get his draft stock was falling, but pick 48. If those shooting slumps were just a fluke, that is a steal at pick 48 for the Warriors, and he could develop really nicely behind Steph Curry. And he's supposed to be one of the best playmakers in this draft, so he could be a really good player to develop alongside James Wiseman in the pick and roll, as well as Eric Pascal. So, yeah, the Warriors actually have a decent young core with those guys they landed last year, just those slew of role players they got last year, like Kai Bowman, Damian Lee, Jordan, I think it's Jordan Lee as well. Yeah. And then they also drafted Eric Pascal, and now they have Wiseman, Mannion. They're doing really well. Also, Yam Madar, he's for the Celtics. I didn't really hear about him until now. Looks like he's just a really nice point guard. He's fast, he can shoot, he can play make, and hopefully he develops into something for the Celtics. Cassius Winston is a steal at pick 53. He's a really good scorer, and I really like that pick for the Thunder. Cassius Stanley, another steal for the Pacers. He's a really nice player. He's 6'8", and he's just really good. Everything is really athletic. Grant Riller with the Hornets at pick 56. Just where he's supposed to be. Especially he was supposed to be one of those experienced point guards. Him and Cassius Winston, Peyton Pritchard, Malachi Flynn, Trey Jones, that were supposed to go in the late first round. Oh, Tyrell Terry. They were all just supposed to go in the late first round. But, Grant Riller and Cassius Winston are steals in the 50s, especially Grant Riller, who, at least talent-wise, maybe be in, the top 15. It's just he's a bit older, so that's why he was supposed to go in the late first round. But, this is just robbery. Grant Riller, he could develop into something really nice. He could also be really good right off the bat. Hopefully he gets minutes and can prove, everyone wrong, because that's just a steal at pick 56. And I don't really know anyone else. So, yeah, that's it for the video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you liked this video and you enjoyed. Hopefully I can get my Xbox soon. As soon as it's back in stock, I'm going to get one. And I can start making 2K content. So, yeah, that's it for the video. So, bye.